The United States is, once again, stopping Ukraine from attacking Russia with certain weapons. In President Donald Trump's own words, it is very hard, if not impossible, to win a war without attacking an invader's country. Reporters at the Wall Street Journal broke the story. According to the outlet, the U.S. implemented new approval procedures in the spring for when Ukraine wanted to use the Army's tactical missiles, or ATACMS, to hit targets deep behind the front lines in Russian territory. The new rules for ATACMS use in Ukraine effectively reversed former President Joe Biden's decision, which came late in his presidency, to allow Ukraine to use ATACMS missiles on Russian targets deep behind enemy lines. The ATACMS missile has a published range of around 190 miles. The new approval process was put in place by Elbridge Colby, the Pentagon's Undersecretary for Policy, and essentially gives the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, final say about Ukraine's use of ATACMS. Now, the last batch of ATACMS approved during Biden's tenure was delivered to Ukraine this spring. We don't really know how many ATACMS Ukraine has left, but it's thought to be a pretty small supply. However, the Pentagon's new deep strike approval process also applies to European-supplied weaponry that relies on U.S. satellite intelligence for targeting, things like Storm Shadow missiles. Just last week, President Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social account about Ukraine not being able to win without attacking Russia, and he criticized President Biden for only ever allowing Ukraine to defend itself, not fight back. Some administration officials are trying to clarify that statement now, saying it does not mean the United States is going to change the new deep strike approval process, but leaving the door open for President Trump to change or amend the process if he so decides. Like we said earlier, this is not the first time the U.S. put restrictions on Ukraine using American-made weapons in general, or even ATACMS specifically. The war was raging for about a year and a half before Biden approved sending ATACMS to Ukraine, and it was even longer before Ukraine was allowed to use the long-range variants of the missiles. While U.S. systems are certainly among the most powerful in Ukraine's arsenal, they are not the only long-range strike options. Ukraine is experiencing quite a bit of success with some slower-moving fixed-wing drones. There are plenty of Russian oil facilities that can attest to that. Ukraine is also ramping up production of the FP-1, Kyiv's version of the Iranian-designed Shahed one-way attack drones. Both of those options are slower moving, though, and are somewhat limited in terms of payload. The newly announced Flamingo long-range cruise missile does not have either of those problems. It was domestically developed by Ukrainian-based startup Firepoint in about 9 months. The Flamingo weighs 6 tons at takeoff. During some recent test launches, it proved it can carry a 2,500-pound warhead and hit targets at around 1,800 miles away. The Flamingo is in serial production now, with Firepoint eventually aiming to put out about 200 or so a month. Munitions which can hit hardened targets in Russia without the need for U.S. coordination or approval. For more reporting like this, download the Straight Arrow News app today.